Yo, what is up, folks? We're back with another debate. And yeah, you read the title right. This is a pretty interesting one. This is Light Yagami versus Shikamaru Nara, me versus Emilio. So you guys know who's debating who. I'm debating Light's more intelligent,
I'll be
and
judge.
Emilio is debating that Shikamaru is more intelligent. We got John and Wildcat as judges.
Yo,
And
Let me get my
yeah, you guys know
pen.
how it goes. There's basically no rules unless one of us is
Let me get
pulling
my
shit out of our
pen
ass. And yeah,
and
so
paper.
let's get straight to it. Emilio, you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Pen and paper.
I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, yeah, I went first. You went first last time. Huh? All right, so
Yeah.
Light versus Shikamaru. All right, so let me start off before I even go into Light versus Shikamaru. I think it's important to talk about the two respective anime universes. So the
Yeah.
Naruto verse and the Death Note verse. So
Way different.
Naruto,
Way.
yeah, way different. In the Naruto verse, what's most important is seemingly power and heritage, such as the Uchiha clan, and those aspects seem to be the most important in determining the amount of success a character will have. So while intelligence is an important trait, it is not the most important trait in determining success within the Naruto verse. So now Death Note, in that verse, the sole factor of success within it was intelligence, with the anime literally revolving around an intellectual battle of biblical proportions between the owner of the Death Note, Light Yagami, who I'm arguing is smarter than Shikamaru, and the world's greatest detective, El Laliet. So from this, you can kind of imply that intelligence is more emphasized in Death Note than it is in Naruto, and transitively, you can imply that Light is more intelligent than Shikamaru because of that, and now I'm going to kind of prove why that is. So now to even further prove why Light is more intelligent than Shikamaru, let's get into some specifics that I pulled out. So I'm going to start with Shikamaru. Throughout Naruto, Shikamaru shows some of the best deduction skills and intelligent feats with his impressive battle strategies, even against opponents more physically gifted than him, such as Hidan. However, he does have some pretty bad mistakes that he's made that I would argue L wouldn't make, such as when he allowed Choji to fight a Sound 4 ninja who are the right hand people of Orochimaru, and Choji is nothing more than a low level Genin. And for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure everyone in this debate knows, I have an actual source. Let me separate this from the other debate because that was Thomas's and John's. So I have a source for that, obviously, even though I'm pretty sure we all know about it already. But where is it? Light versus Shikamaru. Shikamaru barely survived. He almost died. Not Shikamaru. Choji barely survived, almost died. Another bad mistake that he made was allowing Asuma to take on an Akatsuki shinobi, who clearly, to the rest of the world, the Akatsuki organization was the worst, most dangerous organization on the planet. And yet Shikamaru, who is always heralded as this genius, allowed a Jonin to take on an Akatsuki level member when they are known to be S-ranked criminals. In fact, beyond S-ranked and all Kage plus level opponents. Even Hidan you can argue is a low level Kage, give or take. So that's another mistake. The last mistake that's pretty apparent that people don't know about is the fact that Shikamaru actually didn't even do well on his written exam. In fact, he needed Ino's mind transfer jutsu to even pass the written exam. So that also indicates that he does not have very much book smart intelligence, which Light would bury him in. So that also proves that. So now that I've kind of exposed Shikamaru, by the way, I'll send a piece of evidence for the written exam part. I think it's this one. I'm sending that to explain here because it doesn't show blatantly that Shikamaru cheated, but the fact that he's sweating there and seeing Ino's using mind transfer jutsu, I can imply that Shikamaru needed Ino's help to pass the written exam, indicating that he's not as intelligent as people start out to make him, such as Asuma, who said his IQ was over 200, because I would argue if it was over 200, he would have passed his shit with flying colors, similar to Minato or Itachi. So now that I'm done exposing Shikamaru, let's move on to the Death Note. So there are constant intelligent feats shown by Light that almost definitely show he's more impressive than Shikamaru. Light is constantly displayed thinking out every subtle detail of every little decision, and literally every episode, if you've seen the Death Note anime, in every single episode, he is carefully analyzing and planning his next step. So it's easy to see he's way more deductive than Shikamaru is. So to get into his feats, I believe his best feats far outweigh Shikamaru's. I'm obviously not going to list Shikamaru's because that would help Emilio. But I will list Light's. Light, outsmarted the world's greatest detective, L. Lolliot, while also single-handedly outsmarting the police force that assisted L. And I could even argue that the rest of the world was trying to take down Kira, who was the most sought-out criminal on the planet, literally being, the guy that kills people without any explanation. Obviously, L came to the conclusion that the person had to have outside help and kind of like supernatural abilities, but Light was always one step ahead of him, resulting in him killing El Lolliot at the end, while also, which is another impressive feat, outsmarting a Shinigami, Rem, I believe is her name. He outsmarted Rem into killing El, and which resulted in Light's success. So throughout the entire Death Note anime, Light has just been the top of the food chain as far as intelligence. Now, I do admit L got him a couple times, but in the end, he won the war. Another impressive feat is when he outsmarted another top-ranked FBI agent. Actually, a retired one. Her name was... Where is it? Naomi Misora, who was the wife of Ray Pember, who also Light outsmarted, who was another top FBI agent following him. So, in conclusion, Light obviously has made mistakes, like I said, but obviously I wouldn't list those either because that would also help Emilio. But from my stated points, I haven't reinforced the fact that the nature of the two animes in general makes it much easier to say that Light is more intelligent, along with Light having more impressive intelligent feats, as I have just listed. Also, due to the fact that Death Note stresses intelligence far more than Naruto, I think Emilio has a heavier burden of proof to prove that Shikamaru is more intelligent, since I would argue his feats, even his best feats, just aren't as impressive as Light. Hence, I have proven Light is more intelligent than Shikamaru. So that's my argument.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start off saying, some features of Shikamaru. You did say his sensei did determine that his IQ was over 200. That may not be true, but he is a smart motherfucker. When you bring up the topic about how he needed Ino's help, the mind transfer jutsu to to write down the questions on the tuning exams, I would debate that just because Shikamaru is one lazy ass person. Even at a young age, he's always been a lazy kind of guy. Never liked to study, never paid attention in class. Um, he's always been a genius word strategist at a very young age. Another feature I would like to bring up how he's probably the smartest person. Outsmarts probably Light, I believe so. Was that when he recently became a Genin, but in the choosing exams, he was the only candidate to be promoted due to his performance. Even though he didn't win, he knew that his chakra wasn't enough to beat Tamari. He knew that it wasn't worth the complete fight. So he also I would like to also point out that before that fight, he did ask the Hokage if he needed to win, you know, in order to be tuning, and he said you don't need to win. You just need to show you have the skill, and yet if you're wise enough to become a tuning level kind of thinking. I would also like to point out that he was in charge of the Sasuke recovery team, showing leadership, which is not easy. You need to be somewhat kind of intelligent to show leadership and show the right moves that you need to do to pull off the job. He did fail. I will say that he did fail the mission, and there were some mistakes he did, but he was also a 12-year-old kid. Um, he was a genius level of let me say this. And when it came down to the second tuning exams, he became a proctor and even helped Hokage choose who to promote. So as you can see, even Hokages were seeing the way he was thinking, saying, okay, what do you believe? People, did they earn this? They would ask for his advice to see, who do you believe is good enough to advance? Who do you think is tuning, level? And that's probably a greatest thing I can say about him. That throughout his whole, ninja career, there's always been people asking for his advice, including him into strategies and war tactics. I would also like to point out that uses his genius level plans to take down Hidan by himself, who is an immortal and an advanced level ninja who can take down Jinchurikis. Yes, he did have some what's his name, Kakuzu, to help him out. But he is still a strong ass fucking ninja. Hidan is, as I said, immortal, and it's not easy taking down someone that's immortal. You have to really think about what you can do. Um, he used Hidan's own ability to attack Kakuzo. When Kakuzo was fighting Kakashi, he got some of Kakuzo's blood and tricked Hidan into thinking that was Shikamaru's blood. And when he uses I don't know what's the jutsu called, the one where he stabs himself and he kills the person. He tricked him to using that and made Kakuzu lose one of his hearts because of that. So it alone shows how intelligent this man is. He tricked someone from the Katsuki, someone as powerful as Hidan, into thinking, I got him this time, but that wasn't the case. Um, Another creature said that he fully planned out Hidan's grave. He even marked down. He found a he marked down a spot with his kunai where his grave was literally just put there. He got him with his shadow jutsu. I forgot what it's called, but um, yeah, basically he planned out his grave and just by himself, something that his own master couldn't really do. He thought of this on his own, just to show how smart this man is. Um, he also is one of the persons that decoded Jiraiya's messages, showing his intellect. He did get help from Naruto, but that's because Naruto was, his student, because of the closest person to Jiraiya. So he did get some help, but most of it was done because, Shikamaru knew the right steps and the people to go to. In the Fourth Shinobi World War, he's called to a council of tacticians to discuss strategies and preparations. So in the Fourth Great Ninja War, people actually saw, how smart this guy is and what he can bring to the table. So that just shows like even at a young age, as a teenager, people knew that this man knew how to think of tactics and basically find ways to bring victory to the battle. He also became the new chief strategist after his father's death. So once Shikaku was his name, I think his father. He was a smart man, and once he passed away, they passed it on to Shikamaru because they believed he was the next person who can actually like help bring strategies to win. Oh,
Was
did I
your
cut off?
was
Oh,
your
No, we're still here.
awesome. Okay. Um, I would also like to bring out that he also when it's like when it shows when it comes to pressure when it's like almost like when it comes to life and death he can think of plans to basically get out of situations. It shows his wit how smart this man is. Like for example, when a Ten Tails was gonna throw a beast bomb, he planned a strategy to protect everyone by using Ino's mind control, and he got in contact with the name Kitsuchi to teach everyone a simple Wajutsu, and just to that just shows that this man can think under pressure and just the way he can process things and show how smart he is. He can think of plans in just mere seconds. This man can think of different kinds of strategies in a way. But I would also like to point out that after the Fourth War, Shikamaru became a chief coordinator of the Shinobi Gang. So out of everybody in there, out of the fourth, Great Shinobi were a union of different villages. They chose him to be the coordinator of the Shinobi Union. That just shows that he has the skills, the intelligence, and the wits to plan these kinds of things out. Um, Also, I know this isn't like I don't know if this is canon or not, but in the last movie, he was in charge of to save the planet with the team, and also to rescue Hinabi. And he also became the Hokage's assistant by the time he reached old age. So that's those are some points I'd like to point out. Yes, Light did trick detectives and trick a Shinigami, but when it came to Shikamaru and the way Naruto role is brought up, when it comes to intelligence, yes, it's way different kinds of intelligence. His more like war tactic intelligence, and Light is more about books. Um, yes, they are both really smart, but I believe Shikamaru, when it comes to I guess a fight against Light, he would win because he's more into thinking of tactics to beat the enemy, and that's what I can say about that right now. That's all I can say right now.
All right, so I'm definitely going to counter that. Now, as we all know, the two different animes have two completely different rules of physics and all things of that nature, but the best way to prove who's more intelligent is the level of impressiveness of each person's feats and how intelligent they are in various fields. Now, I would say Light is more impressive in more fields than Shikamaru. Shikamaru is a pretty good battle strategist, but like I said, he was around age 17 or 18, I believe, by the time he let Asuma die in front of his eyes, which was the same age as Light. Light would never make a huge mistake like that, and I don't think he ever did throughout the anime. Now, when it comes to different fields of intelligence, Light is quite an expert in many. Obviously, he's more book smart than Shikamaru. I don't need to debate that, but he's also intelligent enough to outsmart the world's greatest detective through emotional intelligence and kinesics, which means body language intelligence, to the point where even L face to face never figured out 100% concretely that Light Yagami was Kira. Shikamaru has never shown a feat to that impressive of a nature. He's never interacted with, at least one-on-one, with enemies as smart as Itachi and Minato, who I believe are more intelligent than he is. But what I could say is Light just has more backbone as far as impressive intelligence feats. I could list more all day. He outsmarted the entire police force, and I'd even argue the entire world's police force. And in the end of the day, he did lose. But when it came to the world's greatest detective at the time, plus the entire police force, which I would argue the entire world's police force, he beat all of them at their own game. While Shikamaru has never shown one-on-one ability to defeat anybody that's as intelligent as L. Hidan was a lower-level intelligent opponent. While he did have immortality, he wasn't very intelligent in the first place. I think everyone can agree with that. He was kind of self-obsessed and self-absorbed, which resulted in him losing to a much weaker opponent, which is an impressive feat for Shikamaru due to the Hidan being more physically gifted. But if Hidan had the mind of, let's say, Itachi, Minato, or even Shikamaru's own mind, Shikamaru would be fucked. I believe Light and L are around equal terms of intelligence, but obviously I can argue that Light is more intelligent than L due to him outsmarting L in the entire police force of the entire world, while Shikamaru's has only outsmarted maybe Hidan one-on-one, which isn't very impressive when you consider the brain power of Hidan. So overall, in a fight with equal stats, Light Yagami would outsmart Shikamaru. Now, I wouldn't say one-on-one in like fighting, because obviously I don't have enough to say Light would beat him in a fight, but this is about intelligence, not about who would win in a fight. So yes, Light Yagami has better deduction skills and more brain power overall, as indicated by his various fields of expertise, while Shikamaru has pretty good battle strategy intelligence, but has not shown any godly feats compared to Light Yagami, who's outsmarted an entire planet of police force. So that's my counter to that.
Okay. Well, yeah, you did bring up that he beat the whole police force, and like, but at the end of the day, he did still lose, And Shikamaru, I don't, on his battles, he has lost some battles too. But when it comes to just him one-on-one, he hasn't. I haven't seen him lose a single battle yet. He has shown, that he does have the smarts to outbeat his opponents. He hasn't been able to prove it because he's a fighting like Itachi, like you said, or Minato, who are also genius level ninjas. But he is someone to be known as a smart person who is the genius of Konoha. He's Naruto's assistant. He helped him with everything when it comes to bringing up the village with plans and strategies. So you may bring up that he's not as smart as Light, but I don't believe that. I believe he may be even smarter when it comes to tactics because of experience. Shikamaru has tons of experience when it comes to fighting tactics. Well, Light just it's all about not showing body language and outsmarting one person. Yes, he may be the smartest person in the world or in the police force, L, but that's just one feature he's shown, of somebody. They could be another person that could be smarter than L. You don't know yet because manga just focus on Light and L. But yeah, I would believe that Shikamaru, when it comes to tactics, he does outsmart Light when it comes because of experience alone.
Okay, so I'm gonna counter that and say I'm gonna get philosophical here because I provided the evidence. Now, your argument's more ad populum, meaning this appeals to what most people believe, but without any concrete proof. It's more invalid. So I would say another anti-feat by Shikamaru, which was one-on-one, which he did lose, even with his intelligence, was against the Sound 4 ninja. He needed Tamari's help, and he was only saved by a Deus Ex Machina. Now, like I said, all I can say now is that you'd have the burden of rejoinder on you to prove how his feats are more impressive than Light's, when Light outsmarted probably hundreds of thousands of police force members, plus the world's greatest detective, while Shikamaru has never shown a feat even close to that as far as how impressive it is. He is the smartest in his village and possibly in the 5 great nations, which could be an estimate of around 150,000 people, but L was the smartest detective in the world and arguably the smartest person in the world. And if we're taking into account the population of the world, it's around 7-8 billion. So L was arguably top 0.0001% of the world, and Light outsmarted him, plus the world's greatest detective. So at the end of the day, you have the burden and rejoinder to prove why you believe Shikamaru is more intelligent. And I just think you haven't done so. But yeah, that's my counter.
I mean, when you bring up the part about the 7-4, he did need help from Tamari, but he did outwit, I forgot the girl's name. I think it's something with a T. I forgot her name, but he did have her. He had her. It was just him not being strong enough. He had her in the shadow strangle jutsu. He had her right here. The only thing that mattered was that she outpowered him. That doesn't really debate how he couldn't beat her because of his wit, because he cleared out her. He got his shadow control of her ogre, her puppets, and turned them against her. But that was another tactic he used just to beat her, because once she counted out those ogres, he had his shadow jutsu get her instead, and she had the curse mark, which also helped her boost her power. So yes, he did need help, but not because he couldn't outsmart her. He needed help because he wasn't powerful enough. That's probably the debate I can counter against that. And yes, the population is different, because in the Death Note universe there is the whole world population more accurate, and in the Naruto verse there's thousands of people, villages, not as much as the Death Note universe. But he does show that he is probably the smartest person out of every single nation.
All right. Well, I guess I'll repeat the same counter. You'd have the burden of rejoinder to convince people here that Shikamaru has a feat as impressive as Light, literally outsmarting the world's greatest detective, who's smarter than anyone Shikamaru has ever outsmarted, plus the world's greatest police force, plus the rest of the world's police force. So if you can't, show a feat that's more impressive than that, then I guess I'll let the judges decide who won this one.
Did we decide, or did you just wait?
Oh, so if Emilio wants to counter, he can.
Yeah, but if you have a counter,
Yeah, anything else you want to say?
Damn,
she was getting really good. It was getting really good. But,
It is actually. Now this is gonna be hard for me to decide. Like, damn.
yeah,
I have to really sit this one out. Well, just let me think about
it. Something like feet.
Well, I feel like me and Wildcat should discuss who the winner is. Just like as a clear victor, since it's only 2 of us as the judges.
Yeah.
We should have like a discussion between the both of us,
like a private
and
meeting?
then we'll decide on who the overall winner is.
Okay,
if that's fine.
Is that
all right,
all right,
does Emilio? You have anything else, Emilio?
Yeah.
Nah, I can't really think of anything else right now. I gotta dig through the notes.
All right, I'm gonna give my closing statement to kind of put the nail on the coffin, so to speak.
All right, go ahead.
So, Light Yagami has displayed intelligent feats, I would argue, far beyond what Shikamaru has shown. And while the rules of both anime universes are different, if Kishimoto would want to show this kind of godly intelligence, he would have pitted Shikamaru against someone like Itachi or Minato in another alternate universe to show that he's more intelligent, but that never happened. He's shown big, blatant mistakes that someone with up-tier intelligence and godly intelligence would never make, such as allowing Asuma to fight an Akatsuki member who, like I said, was in an organization that was heralded as the most dangerous organization in the world, and everybody in that organization was to be understood as a deadly opponent, and yet he still let Asuma fight him. Also, he's not as book smart as people think. He needed to cheat in the written exam, and while Emilio said it doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't need to, the fact is he didn't take the written exam, because if he was so intelligent as people say he is, he wouldn't even have cared about the conditions. He would have just took the written exam with ease, like how Light Yagami took his at the university under pressure when Light was watching him and he was suspicious of L being L. So under pressure, also Light Yagami is more intelligent. At the end of the day, he is the main character in a world where intelligence is the sole factor of success, while Shikamaru is in a world where he's not even the main character and his intelligence does not save him many times, which I just stated. In fact, Naruto and Sasuke are the main characters, so At the end of the day, the burden of rejoinder was on Emilio to prove a feat that is more impressive than Light Yagami being smarter than the world's greatest detective, outsmarting the world's greatest detective, outsmarting his father, who was the leader of the police force within Japan, working with the world's greatest detective, and also outsmarted everybody else. The FBI, the fucking retired FBI agents, he outsmarted every single one of them. And at the end, he did lose. But I'd even argue that's more for plot device. Now, that's arguable, but at the end of the day, he outsmarted the world's greatest detective at the time, the rest of the police force, and even a fucking Shinigami that's not even human. It's a fucking god of death. He outsmarted a god of death. He is an expert in emotional intelligence, kinesics, has the ability to manipulate women like he did the other Kira girl. He manipulated her. And like I said, he's probably the most book smart person in the world in his respective universe, in a world that probably has a population that is equivalent or relative to the real world population, which is around 8 billion or so, while Naruto probably has a population of around, I'd estimate, 200,000, possibly 300,000. Now, at the end of the day, when we're in a debate that is kind of tough to put your finger on, at the end of the day, numbers is what matters. And I would take 1 out of 8 billion compared to 1 out of 300,000 every single time. At the end of the day, that's my closing statement and why Light Yagami is more intelligent.
I go against any of that. I will. The only thing I will probably, go against little is about the cheating, because as I said, he is a really busy guy. When it came down to training exams, when everyone was under Genjutsu, he just pretended he was under Genjutsu because he was just lazy. He didn't want to help anybody out. So he's a really lazy guy. It's not that he doesn't know anything about any kind of book smart. He just doesn't like doing shit. All he wants to do is just sit down and watch clouds, all day. And then until I think later, after the fourth Great Ninja War, is when his perspective of life's changed. When he believes, okay, I want to, what was it? The king. He wants to, he wants to protect the king. That's when he started thinking more about, doing more stuff instead of being lazy and just watching clouds all day. That's the only counter I have against that, about him cheating on the training exams.
Okay, I'll let the judges decide. That's all I have.
We're discussing right now, so just give us like 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes. Most likely.
Maybe shorter than that.
Yeah, maybe shorter than that. This is actually
you guys both came out.
Yeah,
this was tough, but
let me just finish.
we're discussing right now.
Also, people watching, feel free to let us know in the comments who you thought won. Yeah, guys, I guess this is one of the most discussed of debates amongst the judges so far.
Yeah, it is.
Don't lie, bro. Like, fuck, because, like,
it's a hard topic.
They're both good, and, like, hold on, I'm still talking now.
My dog's barking. Shut up! Sorry.
All right, I guess we get decided long enough.
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess.
Hold on.
Oh, okay, we're sorry. You good?
All right, go ahead.
Ready? Okay, both of you did a phenomenal job. Both of you did really good. I have to get. Unfortunately, though, I wish Emilio had a source, because I think you both were doing pretty good. But like Jay actually, gave good examples, and he did bring up the outsmarting part of the argument, which I'm like, okay, that kind of does bring up a point. Emilio, you were actually killing it so far. I'm like, oh fuck. And then Jay kind of did bring up the good points about everything, and then. Yeah, this is hard because I don't know what to pick, but I honestly got to go with Jay on this one. I think he did a better argument, and he did counter, but yeah, and then plus he also gave some evidence, so yeah, it's kind of gonna give it to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jimmy here, but he did come through with some good counter arguments to defend his opinion on Light being the better, smartest character. Emilio had some great points as well, but Jimmy with the counter arguments sealed the deal for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, this fuck. Because I wasn't
both of you guys came to play. I'll give you guys hella credit for that. Both of you
Bro,
guys
I was about to say, you know what? I don't know why. I just felt Emilio, he did a little better, but then Jay kind of just brought some okay, yeah. Now I'm thinking about Jay did better a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah.
There was mentions of a tie.
I
was fuck no.
There's gotta be a winner.
I was doing that. I was just like,
fuck a tie.
That'll be the first tie ever.
There's gotta be a winner here. It's only 2 of us as the voter.
Come on, there's always a tie in boxing and sports.
Yeah, this isn't
boxing. This is debate.
And then we just do a part 2.
Nah. But yeah, guys, that was the debate, man.
Yeah.
So
during this one.
My record is still intact. It's 3-0 now, but we're gonna talk about another debate.
1-1 here.
We're gonna talk about more debates, folks. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let us know in the comments what you guys thought. Maybe you thought Emilio won, or maybe you thought I won. Whatever it is, let us know in the comments. We love y'all, and we'll catch you in the next debate, folks.
Yeah, peace out.